Hey, what's up? It's Mykill and I'm playing some more Kerbal Space Program. And right now, I'm going to grab a couple of contracts and head out into space. And this is the rocket that I'm going to be setting up there to rescue Gemini, I think his name was. Could be wrong on that one. Yeah, it was a pretty tedious launch. I had real hard time trying to keep this stable with the solid rocket boosters because there's no thrust vectoring on them. So yeah, that was a bit of a chore. Get up to around 9 or 10 kilometers and start my gravity turn. And a bunch of stuff decided to blow up, so debris fund didn't really help there. And here's the circularization. I did move the orbit a little bit higher than the target after that, and then time warped around until I got into the right spot, set up the transfer for the rendezvous. Make that a quick little burn. And a little correction. And then just going to time warp over until I get in nice and close, and I'm going to zero out the velocity. And then I'm going to bring it in even closer a couple of times. And then once I get in under, I think it's like 100 or 75, I can't remember when I stopped it. But yeah, once I get down there, I'm going to switch over to the other guy, the other Kerbal, and I'm going to use his RCS pack to bring him into the ship. I'm going to turn out the ambient lighting so you can see what I'm doing. And it was kind of a bitch to get him into this thing because he didn't want to grab onto it. So what I did was, after 3 times and failing, I flipped this over north and south and try to put him in the pod that someone already is in, because I figured that the pod with the antenna on it was the one with the Kerbal in it, but I was wrong. Now they're all set. Got a couple of contracts done. Do a little bit of science, get another contract done, and get set up for the re-entry burn. The one cool thing about having near for your aerodynamics is that you can actually angle the aircraft while you're coming in and choose your landing spot. Downside is, if you build it slightly off center, this happens. It turns to the right and decides to go about a mile off course, but hey, that's alright because I wasn't landing at the Space Center anyways. I just wanted to hit solid ground. I'll pop the chutes. And bring that in for a nice touchdown, about 5 meters per second. And I'm going to go back to the Space Center and see how much science and money that I gained, which is a decent amount. I got about 100 grand out of that. So what I notice now is that 2 of the contracts that I did not finish. So I decided that I was going to redo that in a small high orbit launch with this craft. This one's a little bit more stable, but still had some problems with it. And we'll put this around 85, just to get circularized, and then once I do that, I'm going to keep burning until I get up to about 400, because I want a decent amount of speed once I come back into the atmosphere. Do a little pseudo test of the non-existent heat shield. Do a little bit of science, and I'm going to time warp up to the apoapsis and move that down into the atmosphere. And as you can see, I'm controlling my nose a little bit, putting the nose down, but the tail is a little bit high, so it's kind of digging into the air a little bit and creating a little bit of lift. And I'm aiming for that little patch of land right there. And once I see that I'm going to make it, I nose down and hit the throttle. I'm going to pop the chutes. Extend the gear. And I also noticed that the contract that I did for the radial parachutes did not work. Even though I was at, I think it was like 160, between 60 and 160 meters per second, and I had to be at like 5,000 altitude. And it still didn't give me the contract, even though I did it. And I did that for another one too, which was kind of weird. But yeah, so now I'm going to switch over to this, and this is my moon rocket. It's also going to test a couple of brand new engines that are in the experimental stage. And first, what we're going to do is we're going to test the Sepratron, and eject that after it's done. And now we're ready for launch. This was the most stable out of all of them because I had the 4 liquid engines on the sides. And as you can see, when those run out, the center stage will light up because I don't have the fuel line yet, so I can't do asparagus or any other kind of staging. I just got to use the 4 outboard engines. And once I get rid of those, that one activates. I'm going to try to keep this on the horizon, or slightly below it, as long as I can, so I can circularize pretty much while I'm doing my initial burn. Get set up for circularization. Got a time warp out of the atmosphere because I'm still coasting along through here for a while. And then I pretty much just kind of eyeballed it once I got out there. I didn't really pay attention to the actual marker. Do some testing of those engines. Eject them, and get ready for the transmuter injection. This burn took a minute to get settled up because I forgot to turn the engine back on, and it wouldn't give me the right readings for the burn estimated time. So I had to pretty much just guess, which I started the burn at about 45 seconds, which is, yeah, more or less where I should have done it anyways, but I wish that thing was a little less buggy. After a couple of minutes, about a minute and a half or two of burning, finally get it out to there. And once I get into the sphere of influence, if you look at the contracts, you'll notice that I did not get the well, actually, you won't see it yet, but once I do establish the orbit with the circularization burn, you'll notice that I don't get the contracts for reaching orbit at the moon, which is insane, to say the least. I'm gonna eyeball this one just like I did before. Once I set it up, get it a little bit closer to the periapsis, and then keep burning. Stage, because I ran out of fuel in that one. There we go. I do some science, and I realized that I wasn't getting the contracts for it, so I tried quick saving and reloading, and nothing worked. So I figured, screw it, let's just land. Got a nice Kerbal rise on there. And yeah, for some reason the money says no money whatsoever. I don't know why. At this point, I have like 200 grand saved up. I don't know. Try to get this all settled into the into the crater, and yeah, this is what ended up happening. Bring it in nice and decent amount of speed on it. Slow it down right before it touches down, but I realize I'm on a slope and it does not want to stay thing, so I had to do an emergency burn and then just head over towards this little flat part over here, or flatter part, because it's not exactly flat. But yeah, there we go. Nice touchdown. And open the contracts. Didn't get land on the moon, so switched around. Jumped back to the ship, still didn't get it. Just decided to go outside, say screw it, plant a flag, because I grabbed that contract while I was over at the Space Center. And once I plant the flag, I can't move anymore. My Kerbal will not accept inputs from my controls. I switch to the ship, and to the flag, and back, and nothing works. Finally, quick save and reload. And yeah. Finally get back into the ship and head back up towards orbit. It's set up for circularization. The cool part about where I launched too is I had it perfect, so right after I circularized I could pretty much set up my return burn. Try to set this up for about it doesn't matter what I set it up for, because I ended up putting it in the planet anyways. Yeah, get this burn all settled up, and once that's done, I'm going to time warp back in towards the planet. Try not to time warp too fast and slam into it, but yeah. And here I come over the desert. And I'm going to come in real steep, so it's going to be like 30 Gs or something crazy like that. And I'm pop the chutes real early too, because I thought I was going to hit the water. So, thank you for not having deadly re-entry. That would have killed me. Although I probably could have landed with the engine, but I don't know. That would have been tedious. So I pop the chutes and put it down in the sand right next to this little lake right here. Some cactuses in the background. Cacti. That's right. So yeah, but that's about it. I ended up getting about $500,000 in total. I started off with about 100 grand. Ended up with $500,000, so it's not bad. Unlocked a bunch of stuff. Got some new stages and stuff. Right now I'm looking at the new station science parts, which actually have a full. They actually have their own like models now, which is just blowing my mind. So yeah. Probably launch a space station next episode. See you later.